Dragon Ball Z, GT Super, whatever it is, get the figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description down below. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey there, collectors, what's going on? I hope you're having a good day and you're leading into a good weekend. I know I sure am, because we are going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Charlie Brown. Okay, Kid Krillin, but you know what? They kind of look one and the same. Anyway, with a figure that looks as awesome as this, and the fact that we are continuing the Dragon Ball Figuarts releases, obviously it has to be good, right? He's reusing the Kid Goku body, so nothing can go wrong, right? Well, you know what? You'd actually be pretty surprised at the quality of this guy. So let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Like I just made mention, Kid Krillin here is going to be using the exact same body as Kid Goku with just two small differences. One being there is no hole on the booty, so this way he could have a Saiyan tail. Krillin is not a Saiyan. And the head. The head is totally different, and obviously so, because this is an entirely different character, which uses the same body. There's only one big drawback to this figure in particular that I've seen. He has a Gotenks issue going on, where the skin that is showing for the torso, the chest that you can see, it is a little bit off color compared to the rest of the skin tone used for Krillin. I think this is because they used an orange base and then painted on the skin tone, which is not necessarily good for the figure, but honestly, I only noticed it under my review lights, and handling it and putting it up on the shelf, I didn't really notice it. But taking a look at the actual figure up close, we're going to be able to see that all of the decals are applied relatively nice for the default head. Anyway, you got to look up super duper close with the macro lens, zooming in at least at about 1,000 times before you're able to see any of the fraying for the decal around the eyes, so that's not a huge issue there. Do take note, though, I have seen some folks with heads for Krillin that did not have the dots, so keep that in mind when you get this guy and you open him out of the packaging that he's going to be coming in. But anyway, for the rest of the figure, the decal on the chest and on the back looks very sharp, no issues there, and the paint application on Krillin looks relatively solid for the wristbands and on the feet. The orange used is a nice dark orange, which obviously will match the Kid Goku Figuarts, and you'd be surprised at what sort of adults that matches as well. So if you want a nice display of orange Dragon Ball characters, you can do that. So all in all, Kid Krillin does look nice, and the minor differences, the head and no booty, the whole, yeah, they are just fine. So using Kid Goku's body, Krillin here is going to have articulation which is nearly identical, except for a little bit going on in here. So let's do a quick breakdown of the articulation, where we have a little bit of a peanut joint, which you're going to be seeing again for the accessory section here, which allows for forward and backward movement along with a swivel, and then ball jointed movement. So what this means for Krillin here is he can basically look in all sorts of directions combined with a little teeny tiny ball joint at the base of the neck. So this way Krillin can look about that far up, that far down, directly down, and left and right in all sorts of different directions, tilt his head, all the good stuff there. Moving on to the shoulders, we do have butterfly hinges, which allow Krillin to move his arms forward like that. Pretty cool. We have swivels where the shoulders connect into the body, which is good. And then we have hinges, which you can actually see that right there, which allow Krillin to raise and lower his arms or move them forward and back, depending on how you look at things. We do have a dedicated bicep swivel, which you can clearly see. Very nice. And then we do have single hinge elbows. Unlike Gotenks, this is an acceptable time when you can use single hinges for elbows. For the wrists, we have a swivel hinge ball joint combo there, because as you can clearly see, the wrists swivel at the base where they plug into the forearms. Then there is a hinge, a dedicated hinge, so this way you can move the hands in one direction that way, but you can't move them in that direction. And then there is a ball joint where they plug in, so this way you get another point of essential swivel motion for the hands. So that is cool. Do take note, depending on how often you move Krillin's arms and in what direction, you may switch up the actual shoulders, so this way you have that little pin facing forward, and if you don't want that, you can just go ahead and fix that. So those of you who don't like to see the joints, well, congratulations, you have control there. We have a weird ball joint hinge combination going on here in the ab crunch area, so we can get Krillin to sort of rock forward all the way like that, and then Go back about that far. There you can see the hinge, but he's also got a ball joint there. So I say it's weird just because I'm not sure exactly what the construction is, but it's very nice and allows Krillin to move in all sorts of different directions, so it's a win in my book. Now for, oh, hey, look at that. We got a little propeller right there on his belt. All right, so that's on a swivel. That's cool. The legs are using a 1.0 style. They're not using the double swivels like Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku would be using. They're just on ball joints, but they do swing out that far forward, that far back, and that far out to the side, which is pretty cool. We have single hinge knees, again, which it would be acceptable here, not on something like Gotenks, but yeah, you know, Gotenks doesn't really use that, but I'm just making a point that, come on, no single hinges when they're not needed. Anyway, yeah, so then we have the typical ankle rocker movement, forward and back on a hinge, swivel around, and then they do that. So that's cool. And a toe hinge. So no single hinges where they're not needed. Here, they're needed for overall size of the figure and aesthetics, and they actually work pretty well. Oh yeah, and also we get a little bit of a waist joint there. So that's pretty cool. So overall, Krillin here moves really well. And if you are a fan of posing your figures on the regular basis, like every day, congratulations. This will be a fun figure to pose. Now for accessories, and this is where Kid Krillin really does come into shine. Why? Dragon Ball was relatively funny. I'm talking about Dragon Ball proper here, and this figure definitely delivers. We get 2 alternate head sculpts. We get 4 extra sets of hands along with 1 extra right hand. We get a Dragon Ball for Shenron or for Krillin to hold, and that is going to be the 6-star ball. We get a Turtle Stone, a Kamehameha effect part, and we get 1 sort of Tamashii Stage Act 4 support system here with 1 support arm that's going to be of the mini variety. So let's take a closer look at everything that we get here, and we're going to go ahead and start with the hands. For the hands that Krillin comes with, he comes with all of the same hands that Kid Goku comes with, except for the karate chopping hands and the hands to hold the power pole because he doesn't come with them. So if you know what hands he comes with as is, you're going to be good to go. Now, the extra hand that he is going to be coming with is going to be the hand to hold on to Kid Goku's tail, so this way he can rob him of all of his energy. Kinda, sorta. Yeah, he just weakens him. So let's go ahead and take a look at the alternate head sculpts, where the other one that we get is going to be Krillin when he's in an attacking pose and he's getting ready to yell and shout and yell Kamehameha and all that fun stuff. The other one, I mean, this is going down in history with the Revoltech Woody. I mean, what do you call this face? When you, but she keeps face. Is this the I just pooped my pants face? I mean, what kind of face is this? I mean, it's awesome. And quite frankly, I really like it. This is the default head sculpt for Krillin when he is going to be on my shelf. But anyway, the way you go ahead and you swap this off is you just have to pop the head off and then carefully align that peanut joint into the hole in Krillin's head. Now, do keep in mind that there is a little peg in there for those tab things that they allow you to put in the box, and they're dumb. Anyway, the smaller accessories, he comes with the 6-star Dragon Ball, which is going to look identical to all of the other Dragon Balls released so far, i.e., translucent orange plastic and flash marks because they didn't get the production right on these perfectly, so that kind of sucks. And again, you can use this in place of the Dragon Balls that come with the Figuarts Shenron. Krillin here also comes with a Turtle Stone. Yeah, we all remember that from the from the anime. I mean, I totally didn't have to look around online to see where this was from. Yeah. So nice rocky effect here. Nice sculpt. The symbol looks good. So yeah. All right, anyway, let's take a quick roundabout look at the hands again, where we get the peace sign, we get the karate hands, we get the splayed hands, and we get the Kamehameha hands. So this way, if you want to use the included Kamehameha with Krillin, you absolutely can. Now, the actual effect part, I'm kind of a bit mixed on. In the promo pictures, I thought this would be the best looking Kamehameha that we would be getting in the Dragon Ball Figuarts releases, and in part it actually is, but in the other part of it, it's not. Reason being is that it has some fantastic shading to it, so this way it actually has white blended into it. It's not made of translucent plastic, which is, you know, okay. They did a real nice job here. The actual texturing on the beam is nice, but what big problem is that you can actually see seam lines in the two big orbs where Krillin would be firing it and where it would be coming to a head, actually hitting the target. And to be honest, that really does break the illusion for me, and well, it's not that great. But what is great is the fact that this can be used with Kid Goku or the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, Cell, Teen Gohan, pretty much whatever other figure you wanted to use the Kamehameha. This is one you can use, and best of all, they can reissue this one unlike the Figuarts Cell. Now, with all of that said and done, what are some drawbacks here for the accessories? What are some ways they could have improved? Well, first and foremost, you do get a support claw for Krillin, and you get one arm in this set. That's right. So if you wanted to display Krillin up in the air firing the Kamehameha, you're going to have to get another support arm for that, but thankfully there are plenty of those out there on the market. And to be honest with you here, even though Krillin does come with a lot, it kind of feels like it's recycled a bit. Yeah, for about the same price point, Kid Goku came with the Nimbus, the two different Power Bowls, a full array of hand parts, and we got the extra tails. Krillin kinda comes with less and is about the same, and it's technically a bit of a just a slight retool, so yeah, that's a bit disappointing. But at the end of the day, we get a nice package here in terms of accessories, and of course, if you need more, there are plenty of effect parts out there on the market. So overall, we get a nice package here with Krillin, but they could have thrown in at least another support arm. Now that we're going to go ahead and round out this review with a nice size comparison with some other figures you just might have, whether or not it is going to be the SH Figuarts Ash Ketchum or maybe an SH Monster Arts Godzilla. How about some fellow Dragon Ball Figuarts? Your wish is my command here, and as you can see, Krillin does fit in that awkward Dragon Ball Figuarts scale where he doesn't really scale with any of the Z or Super characters, and that's a shame. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Kid Krillin here does look nice. The articulation is pretty rock solid, and the accessories, though I think they could have maybe done a couple other things here and there, are relatively solid for this release. The price point, though, I don't necessarily agree with, even though he does have a very, very memeable head sculpt. I do think that they could have maybe made this closer to a budget release around $45 instead of almost $60, which is a bit disappointing. But at the end of the day, those who want a Kid Krillin to go with their Kid Goku, so this way they can have a sparring match on the shelf, if y'all really wanted to recreate the glory days of when Roshi and the two children of power trained together, that's my new name for them, kids. I came up with that on the spot. This is a great way to do that. All in all, I do think Kid Krillin is a solid release. Just don't expect anything like Goku Black or Future Trunks from Super tier of a figure here. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.